give up your day jobs.
Man, you guys suck.
Don't worry. After high school, everything will be better.
But it's the same shit, different day. But I'm not allowed to say that. I had a lot of fun, and I took a fuck ton of L's. This is Adamus yet again. Of course, with the iconic Helldivers 2 gameplay. I swear I'll play another game soon. So today I decided I want to go ahead and start cataloging stories from my younger year, which as much as I want to say wasn't that long ago, my 30s are approaching like the moon of Termina crashing into Clocktown. And a lot of these stories may seem like they're going to rank pretty high on the yeah, that totally happened scale. They'll immediately become believable again because I either do something really soy, really cringe, or I just take a massive L. And so today I'm going to start with a story that still haunts my nightmares. This is a story of when I met
the girl at the rock show.
2013, Last of Us had just been released, BioShock Infinite was confusing the fuck out of me, and I was loving every second of Metal Gear Rising before it became a meme. My hair was long and I was dyeing it every color of the rainbow. I was a textbook definition of poser, wannabe, and I was so cringe that even young me was deleting a shit ton of selfies practically every single day. Look at this little shit all excited because he got his hand-me-down iPhone 3GS. And I was taking all these selfies because I was using a website at the time called My Yearbook. Even though Tinder hadn't become 18 or over just yet, all the teens were flocking over to this website, this app. This is where they would all go to hook up. It was so bad that Fox News even wrote an article about it. Looking back on it now, yeah, it was horrible. All these kids with their raging hormones, all of them had blatant insecurities, and I'm not gonna shorthand anything. I'm gonna take full accountability about all the shit that I did. I was looking for insecure people. Why? Because it made me feel better about myself. When incels going around talking about people getting carried by their good looks, that perfectly describes me back in these days. But I'm gonna tell you, that shit stops working real quick. And if it does end up working, I promise you, you're in for a horrible situation and you need to run. Everyone who was growing up who had the natural good looks, the good genetics, I promise you, they have a horror story to tell. So yeah, I was on this website and I was juggling conversation after conversation. I was so bad, I was having long distance relationship with girls who were out of the state, out of the country. Of course, the goal was to meet up with someone and go mess around, but it was all about the ego. Every single time I got a message of someone upset because I wasn't responding anymore, I secretly loved that. And then I found someone who absolutely humbled me. Someone who shattered every ounce of confidence that I thought I had. The app had an activity feed where it showed you what people were posting that weren't too far away from you. And I see this account that's posting these professional grade fucking model pictures. At first I assumed the profile's fake, but then I look more into it and no, she's got a whole bunch of legit pictures. She put all those childhood crushes to shame, man. Gwen, Shigo, even that Amber Ghost girl. She was like, damn, but everything was way too good to be true. It didn't make any sense. I remember she was so cool. She was so easy to talk to. At that time, I was so used to carrying conversations, but no, she was holding her own weight and she was segueing her own conversations and it was awesome. She had all the same interests that I did. She knew more about Pokemon than I did. She told me that she was also playing through BioShock Infinite. She loved the first two games, which I did too. One of the things I never understood was in the original BioShock games, if you wanted to use your powers, your plasmids, your character needed to constantly inject himself with something called Eve. And if you want to get more of these powers or strengthen these plasmids, you would need to get something called Adam. Adam, Eve, you know, that all makes sense. Something I can put together even as a teenager. And so I tell her, like, I don't know why, like, they decided to change the name of Eve and they turned it into Salts. And she responds with this detailed explanation about beryllium or some sort of shit with the mitochondria. And I'm legit just like, hold the fuck up.
I've done my share of bootlegging. It behooves oneself to keep his wits. Long story short, we hear a story too good to be true. It ain't.
So I decided to cut the conversation short. And so I asked her if she's down to meet up. And in my head, I'm just like, man, she's gonna say no. She's gonna make some sort of excuse. It's too good to be true. She says yes, gives the exact date that she's available and the exact time as well. So I'm excited. A little worried I'm gonna get jumped, but excited. So the day comes, I'm all excited. I'm like a kid going to Disneyland for the first time. We meet up in front of this ice cream shop in the uptown part of the city. I remember going up to her and telling her that she looks even better than she does in her pictures, which that was the extent of my game. The way she talked, the way she presented herself, there was not an ounce of doubt or self-consciousness in her. She was quick-witted and she was smart, man. And that was the first time I ever met someone like that. She was NFL, I was Pop Warner, and I could not stop comparing myself to her. And it only exposed just how little confidence I actually had. I was practically like Kif from Futurama trying to call Amy.
Hello? Who is this?
Hello? Hello?
I was already at the fucking end zone. All I had to do was not fuck up. The amount of times she saved the conversation because of awkward silences, because of me. I'm literally the fucking meme. We decided to go window shopping for a while, mostly just commenting on like nerdy shit like Pokemon or just looking at pop punk band t-shirts, which she made fun of me about. But no, I couldn't get my act together. I kept looking down. I had my hands in my pockets the entire time. And she even amps up her game. Throughout the rest of the night, she starts poking me. It's like she's poking a dead body trying to get life to come out of it. We stop by Coffee Bean, grab a couple of drinks, and then we make our way over to a park. We sit down next to each other on a bench. Every single time an awkward silence happens, she pokes me. And then finally, I decide to poke her back. Back and forth, this went on. Until finally, I grab both her hands. She looks at me and says, "Can I try something?" Still to this day, I can't fucking believe it, but yes, it did happen. We kissed and I still couldn't keep my shit together. As a matter of fact, it got fucking worse. My breathing suddenly got really fast. My hands were trembling. She lays her head down on my chest, and then even she tells me, "Dude, your heart is beating really fast right now." I play dumb and I'm just like, "I know, it's really weird." At that point, she says it's getting late and she's got to get home. The both of us knew that we were just gonna walk home after we got done. I asked her if she's okay if I walk her home. She asked me if I'm sure because her place is already a 20-minute walk and it was completely going the other direction of where I was coming from. I say some corny shit like, "I can't let a girl as gorgeous as you walk home alone at this time of night," which I'm sure she was just happy just to get some sort of life out of me. Halfway back to her place, she violently pushes me up against a wall and we start going back at it again. This time I decide to push the boundary a little bit. I cop a little feel, but it doesn't seem like it was a bad thing because I want to say this went on for about another minute. And so we stop and she says, "You need to calm down." Still to this day, I don't know what exactly she was referring to. Was it the breathing and the heart rate or was it the copping the feel? I don't know, but I kept my hands to myself for the rest of the walk. We show up back at her place and I apologize. I tell her normally I'm not that boring and I tell her I really hope we can try this again. She tells me yeah and that she'll let me know when she's free. No hug or kiss goodbye, just that's it. And so I walk home just thinking about everything that I fucked up with and thinking about how much I could have done everything so much better. The very next day I message her asking her when she's free. 2 weeks later, she responds saying that she's sorry for taking so long to respond, but she's been extremely busy. She tells me that she's been out of the state and that she'll let me know when she's back. Less than a week later, I message her saying I hope she's doing well and I hope I get to see her soon. I get no response after a week and I start getting mad. But I say, no, you can't be that guy. Another week passing with nothing, and so I become that guy. I channel my inner nice guy. I say something like, "Oh, that's so fucked up of you to just completely ghost me. I thought you were way cooler than that." She doesn't even fucking respond. She just straight blocks me, dude. This story channeled my inner incel rage for a long time. I told this story to a lot of people and I changed everything up in the story to make people think she was completely in the wrong and I did nothing wrong. And I refused to take any accountability. Like, dude, I gave her a fucked up date and I expected her to call me back. And for a lot of incels, the same exact thing probably would have happened to you.
Hello? Are there any girls in this room at all? Yeah, bring on the hot chicks, cause I'm a hot stud.
I'm a woman, if that's what you mean.
A woman? I'm scared.
Unironically, that's where a lot of you are at right now. And until you fix that relationship with yourself, it ain't gonna get any better, no matter how much you think it is. And that's coming from someone who relied solely on good looks and decided to put no attention to his personality. And the sad part about that is I never came to terms with that till just a couple years ago. We gotta learn how to stop deluding ourselves and how to take accountability. And if you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, well, because of your good looks, you got to kiss her," that might as well as never happened. But see, the thing is, let's say she did call me back. Or better yet, no, let's say that I did everything right in that first date. It wouldn't have mattered because she was on a completely different leveling field. And I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about confidence and mental level. If we were to keep talking, it wouldn't have mattered. She would have gotten bored. She would have left me behind because this was a woman who had ambition. She was already prepared to start her modeling career the moment she turned 18. If all of a sudden I heard one day she was streaming up there with Emiru, Pokimane, and Valkyrie, I wouldn't have been surprised. And me, I had no ambition, no motivation to do anything. All I wanted to do was have a girlfriend. That's it. In summary, having good looks isn't gonna take you as far as you think it is. Rather than pointing your finger in every direction except yourself, why don't you think about what you could have done better? We always want to take the easy way out, yet we glorify people who play From Software games because they play them in the most difficult possible manner. And then you want to look over to the other side and say, "Oh, but women live life on easy mode." Why do you give a fuck? Tell me why you think women living a harder life is gonna make yours any better. "Oh, she can't do OnlyFans, so she'll have to date me now, right?" Put your head on straight and focus on moving forward. If I can tell one of my most embarrassing stories to the entire internet, and I'm going to keep telling more of these embarrassing stories, you can look within yourself and think about how you could have handled something better, and remember that for the next time. Just stop being so petty. You're a grown-ass man. And when you see somebody else being petty, you don't stoop down to their level. You let them throw their tantrums and you move on. Giving them the attention that they want is just gonna make things worse. That's all I got for today, guys. I'll see you in the next one. And always remember, you can find happiness in your own presence. You don't need anybody else. Once you get that figured out, a lot more doors are gonna start opening up for you. Later, guys.